All right, so this is my review for All Out 2025. I did see the show yesterday before the WrestlePalooza show, and I had two different screens going on during the main event of All Out and the opening match on WrestlePalooza. Actually, not just the opening match, but a little bit of the tag match, because that main event went long. And look, I really don't like WWE running shows the same day as AEW. Even if AEW moves like the show earlier, there's going to be some overlap, and I really don't like that. It's a headache for a lot of people who want to see both shows. And I know that WWE has predatory business practices, and I've criticized them for that. However, with the AEW perspective, these 6-hour pay-per-views, look, back when they were doing 4 pay-per-views a year, I could understand having 4, 5, 6-hour shows. But they really need to chop these down a bit because they're long. And let me tell you, when that WrestlePalooza show ended, I went right to bed. I mean, I did my review, knocked right out. The reason why I didn't even want to do the AEW All Out review was because I was too tired. But I'm up, and I mean, I was up all day, man, since 6 a.m. And a lot of that was watching wrestling. And I love wrestling, but geez, it's a lot. So they actually opened with the match that I thought was going to close. FTR against Adam Copeland and Christian Cage. Cope and Cage. Edge and Christian's what we know them as. And pretty solid opener, I would say. If you've seen any FTR match, you know that these guys work a very methodical, not methodical as in slow, but very meticulous. That's the word I'm looking for. Meticulous style, in that their matches always have these really intricate spots and intricate moments. And this match was no different. It really is like two legendary teams from two different eras coming together to have a match. So Edge and Christian won, which I'm not surprised about because it is Toronto, their hometown, and you're going to give the win to the hometown. Well, then again, that didn't always happen in WWE either. Let's not forget. But, yeah. But then after the match, it was unfinished business because Nick Wayne and Mother Wayne and those people that were feuding with Christian all came out. And then FTR hit the spike pile driver on Christian. So this feud is not over, and I'm glad that it's not. I'm glad it's not, because this thing, there's still a lot left. There's still a lot of gas left in the tank for Copeland and Christian to keep teaming, and also for them to help each other against this, conglomeration of heels that hate both of them. Eddie Kingston returned in a match with Big Bill. I think the finish was a little bit botched. There isn't much to say about the match itself or even much the build-up. Big Bill just challenged him and picked him because I don't even know. We haven't heard Big Bill mention Eddie Kingston at all until this build-up. I didn't even know that Eddie was ready until Big Bill started cutting promos on him. It led to Eddie Kingston's return. Nothing spectacular. It's just a match. Could have been a TV match. Luckily, it didn't take up a lot of time. And that gave me hope that maybe the show would speed through so it wouldn't overlap. But that's not how things went. Then we had a tables and tax match between Mark Briscoe and MJF. I liked this match, although I think there might have been a few too many matches on this pay-per-view that were sort of like this. I think this was probably the biggest victory of Mark Briscoe's career in AEW, more than even winning the ROH title. I'm sorry, but the ROH title under Tony Khan is it just doesn't mean anything, man. I'm sorry if you like Ring of Honor. I like the old Ring of Honor, right? Before the Tony Khan era. It's a throwaway brand. It means nothing. It has no value. But beating MJF on pay-per-view does have value. There were a lot of nasty spots, a lot of teasing with the tacks. MJF put thumbtacks in Mark Briscoe's mouth. There were some creative spots with the table as well. And the fact that MJF really did a great. I mean, it was Mark beat him with the J Driller, 1, 2, 3 in the middle, and I thought when he hit him with that J Driller, because that's what this is all about. Is about Mark and the fact that MJF even mentioned Jay, even though he didn't really bury Jay. He just said that Jay was better than Mark, which a lot of people actually have felt that way for years. The J Driller worked, and Mark Briscoe wins the feud. This should be the end of it. I don't see what the point is of continuing. They had this vignette with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens and Jerry Lynn. I don't care about those guys reuniting. The Hurt Syndicate against Ricochet, Bishop Kane, and Toa Leona. It was fun. Like, there was some funny stuff here. Nothing that I would say was, truly captivating. The one standout for me was just how amazing Shelton Benjamin is. Shelton Benjamin was the MVP of this match because he was able to do power stuff like Lashley, but able to do speed things like Ricochet. Like Shelton Benjamin, despite being a guy who at this point is, I think he's over 50. I don't know his actual age, but he is an absolute just lifelong athlete, a stud, like JR would say. I don't think even Tony Khan understands. I don't think anybody really understands how good Shelton Benjamin is, like any of his previous bosses, like even Vince McMahon. I don't think they really got just how versatile he is as a worker, and I hope that people recognize it. MVP looked pretty decent despite not having wrestled in, years? I think his last match, was his last match a Royal Rumble? I feel like it was. I know he came back in one. But surprisingly enough, Ricochet pinned MVP. Like, I didn't think they were going to win this, but obviously this is not over yet. Mercedes Monae versus Riho for the TBS title. I don't think the crowd cared. I like Riho a lot. First AEW Women's Champion. Adorable. Really a talented wrestler. Mercedes Monae does the best she can with what she's given, and these two are good wrestlers, and they did the best they could, and it is the best that Riho's looked since coming back, but man, the crowd not being into this hurt it. I don't know if it's because Mercedes Monae, people are tired of it. I mean, I've made comments about how she's got kind of go away heat, and once she lost to Toni Storm, there really wasn't anything left for her to do, that was of any importance, I feel, except for if they built up another super match between her and somebody else. I don't think this was it. However, I have thoughts on Toni Storm coming up shortly. Okay, Okada, Takeshita, and Máscara Dorada for the AEW Unified title. This was the best match of the night up until this point. And this and the main event, I feel, were tied as just the best. You've got Okada, who's the heel. You've got Takeshita, who's also a heel, but showing signs of being a babyface. People are starting to get into him now, especially in Japan. So that may end up going somewhere. And then you've got Máscara Dorada, who is the babyface luchador. This match had everything, dude. Dorada was doing... There was so much creativity with everything they came up with. Dorada was doing stuff with these guys I've never seen before. Just when you have this hybrid Japan-Mexico style, like this match was so... Go out of your way to see this. I don't care if you don't know any of these guys or you're a casual WWE fan. Go out of your way to see this match, dude. They just... Man, and it was stiff. It was just... Dorada was just, he was the babyface in peril, but fighting off these two giants. Well, Takeshita's a giant more than Okada, but these strong style wrestlers and getting clobbered along the way. So Okada wins and goes on, retain the unified title. I wonder if they're going to do him and Eddie Kingston again. We'll see. The coffin match with Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. So I was not looking forward to this, man, because I knew with these two guys in this match, in this company, they were going to do something stupid. It's just, this is what they're known for. They're known for doing things that are unnecessary, that are brutal, painful, sometimes even gruesome and disgusting. And I just wasn't looking forward to it. And a lot of times in this match, I was just like, yeah, it's what I expected. Yep, of course, it's dumb. Yep, that really hurt. And I don't know, man. For some reason, the tables and thumbtacks match I liked more. This one, like what Mox likes to do is just gross people out every time he wrestles. Darby jumping off of balconies. That was, I guess, kind of cool. But I really thought this was going to be the night that Darby was finally going to beat Jon Moxley and end the feud. But no, Pac came back, screwed over Darby, and Mox wins. So the feud continues. Then we have probably the strangest outcome of the whole night. It's a 4-way for the AEW women's title. Timeless Toni Storm, Chris Statlander, Jamie Hayter, and Tekla. I really, really thought that it was going to be another big win for Toni Storm. Best character in the company. Does great work. Just a phenomenal talent in every way. I really believed that it was just a 4-way because they didn't have a real competitor planned for her. And I thought maybe Tekla would be the one. And I thought maybe if anyone was going to win the title in this one, it was going to be Tekla. And instead they gave it to Chris Statlander. I don't know. I think they were going for like the shock finish. And it definitely was shocking because I wasn't even fully paying attention. I won't lie. Like, I was watching the match, but I was doing other things. And when it happened, I thought it was like, what? And everybody I was with was like, huh? Because nobody was expecting that. And then they announced Chris Statlander as the winner and the AEW Women's Champion. That's her first time getting it. And all I could say was, there's something weird about Toni Storm beating Mariah May, beating Sasha Banks, Mercedes Monet, beating Ember Moon, Athena, and then losing in a 4-way. I don't know, man. Am I weird for saying that it just maybe felt a little bit underwhelming? Maybe felt a little bit like it when Toni Storm, after beating all these, like overcoming all these difficult obstacles to lose in a 4-way, and she was the one. I mean, she was involved in the finish, but still, I don't know, man. I don't know if this is the move. I don't know. We'll see. Then we had the 4-way tag team ladder match for the AEW tag titles. And this was Jet Speed, which is Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Kevin Knight, against Josh Alexander and Hechicero, against the Young Bucks, against the tag champions, Brody King and Brodito. So I was completely desensitized at this point. Like, they were doing crazy spots, they were doing creative stuff, but after seeing the Mox and Darby and the tax match, and at this point, the WWE show was about to start, and I was starting to get concerned about time, right? Because I wanted this show to end before WWE started, so I wouldn't have to do a double screen. And I'm just, watching this, and to be honest, like, they all worked hard. They all worked really, really hard, but none of the spots stuck because we see one of these matches like once a month. We just saw one at SummerSlam. Like, I kind of want, and we saw one at WrestleMania too. Look, I kind of want like wrestling to give the ladder match a break. I want either AEW or WWE to not do a ladder match outside of maybe Money in the Bank for a whole year. Because, you know, they're always death-defying. They're always fun to see live. They do give you bang for your buck. No pun intended. But, I don't know, man. Like, I was totally desensitized to this. Maybe I was getting tired. It just didn't do anything for me. But the post-match did. Jack Perry comes back, and he's mad at the Bucks. He attacks them 1-on-2. They get the advantage. Then there's like a weird video, and we all knew it was Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus comes out, saves Jack Perry. They don't explain why, but I guess Jack Perry found him. And remember, he was just Killswitch the previous month. Killswitch. He was Killswitch like in the last pay-per-view. And he makes a save, takes off the Killswitch belt. They hug, they play Tarzan Boy, so it feels like AEW 2019 all over again with the Jurassic Express. You know, it was a nice reunion. It was a nice moment. I want to hear what led to it. Hopefully we have a storyline that we can, you know, on Dynamite or whatever, we can hear from Jack Perry and see what led to this whole thing. But that got a big reaction, and it definitely was a moment, and it was cool. It was cool. So, Bro Dito retained. Then we have the main event, which is Adam Page and Kyle Fletcher. Before that, they had this little like segment where it looked like they were gonna, I think, light Darby Allin on fire or something because he was in a body bag, and then Darby Allin like reversed it, and then the backstage they put out the fire. It's not over. They're gonna keep mutilating each other in future pay-per-views. So Hangman Adam Page versus TNT champ Kyle Fletcher. He's defending the AEW World title. This was a phenomenal main event. Blew away everything on the WWE show. No disrespect to any of those talents, but man, this was the coming out party for Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher wrestled a hell of a match with Hangman Page. They came up with these really intricate sequences that felt like something out of New Japan, where you thought that was going to be the finish. Reverse. Like they went for a long time. I mean, this was over 30 minutes. These guys were going at it. And meanwhile, Cena and Brock are on the other screen, and I'm trying to pay attention to both because I want to see. The thing about Lesnar is, you know, his matches might not be all that great, but you kind of don't want to look away because you never know. You know, he's got that vibe to him. But bro, my brother, these guys went out there and delivered, man. I can see Kyle Fletcher being world champion someday. Don't know if it'll be as a heel, but you know, there's been some collision matches recently that he's been praised in having. So he's always been a pretty decent wrestler, but this elevated the TNT title, and it elevated Kyle Fletcher even in defeat. And that to me is what makes a good match. And there was like a lot of good stuff, man. The buckshot lariat reversals, the dead eye from the apron to the floor through a table. It's been done too much, I think, but Kyle Fletcher with his kicks like changed the complexity and the like sort of where the match was going. So, I call that a W for not just Hangman Page, AEW as a whole. I think you should go out of your way to see the three-way and the main event. Maybe the ladder match if you're into that kind of thing. I mean, I like those matches. I think we're seeing them too much, though. But between both companies. You must see this main event. You must see that three-way. Trust me. Trust me. And if you're a fan of Edge and Christian, of course, check out that match as well. But a good show. A good, solid show. I would say it was better than the WrestlePalooza show, which was a disappointment. Despite all the, hey, we're on ESPN. Look the kind of money we're making, you know. Despite all that, it doesn't matter. AEW was the better show on this day. Anyways, y'all, I'm going to try and get back to regular uploading. I've got some health stuff I'm working through, so look forward to some new content coming whenever I get done with all this. But take care for now. Have a good one. See you real soon.